So I thought maybe we can turn to osteoporosis and also osteopenia. So maybe, Justine, you can tell us the difference between the two.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit about osteopenia and osteoporosis. Osteopenia is not really a medical condition, it's a warning sign. It's like, oh, the bones are moving in the direction of not good. They're starting to weaken. And then osteoporosis is the bones have weakened. And when I first did my training, they said, no, once you have osteoporosis, that's it, you've got it. And since then, they've done medical studies, and you can improve osteoporosis. Even once it's manifested into osteoporosis, you can improve that. And I kind of want to scream that because it's something, our bodies are amazing and they want to work towards homeostasis. And I thought, oh, you know, I have weak bones, I should eat more, whatever. But it's not just our diet, it's not just our movement, it's also our maybe I should say inner life. It's how well we handle stress. Is cortisol eating away at our bones because we're in such a high state of inflammation and duress? So things such as meditation can help a lot from that standpoint. And then weight-bearing exercises, and they say jogging or those types of things, but it doesn't have to be. I have a life-size picture of telling someone 80 years old who has osteoporosis, go jogging, and I hope you don't fall.
Right.
It doesn't have to be that extreme. And weight-bearing is one thing. Here I am on my arm and I'm creating strength in the long bones, but all of a sudden I bend my arm. I'm having muscles pull on the bones in different ways. And that dynamic pull of the muscles from different situations is huge. And doing prone back bends where you're lying on your stomach lifting up. One of my favorite things, and I tell my students this a lot, to look at a room full of women that are all 60 plus and see them come up into a prone back bend and hold it well and not be like, I've seen 20-year-old men who can't do that. It's a different set of muscles. It's a different type of stamina. And to see them and know what's happening in their body is amazing.
So that is a really good point because as we age, we all fear this. Don't we? We all fear that structure that's going to just cave us in. Can you now imagine what that prone back bend feels like? It's the opposite. And you're strengthening all the muscles and the bones that support that nice upright posture. So that's something that every person should incorporate throughout their life.
So with osteopenia, it's more of a warning sign that the bones are starting to degrade. And then osteoporosis is, they have something called a DEXA scan, which is where they look at the bone density itself and show, yeah, you've lost bone density there. But the bones are constantly changing. It's so funny, when I was a kid, I thought you grew your bones, they were solid, that was it, and you're done. You know, there's a lot of things I thought as a kid. But the bones are a living tissue, and so if it starts to go down through osteopenia, you can get back to fully strong bones and not even show up on the DEXA scale. So the osteopenia is more of a medical term saying, caution, warning, this is coming down the pike. And the other thing to remember, the DEXA scan that gives you those numbers, that's based on a healthy 30-year-old woman. Not you, not anyone you know, just some random person. And my teacher used to always say, treat your first bone scan as the baseline. And there's a lot of different reasons that can contribute to bone loss. If a woman, after people hit a certain age, it's as common in both men and women. But menopausal osteoporosis is more common in women, is only in women, because as we start to lose our estrogen, we start to lose bone density. Then once we hit a certain age, men and women are on an even playing field. So some women might be more prone to osteoporosis. And when I first did a lot of research on this, I thought, I'm good. I'm big boned, I'm strong. I have forward head carriage, which is correcting through yoga. But that signals to my nervous system, oh my gosh, she's running, she's afraid. So cortisol sets off in the system. Depression can add to it. Women who don't start menstruating until they're later in life, as opposed to 9, 10, 11, 12, they might not start until 13, 14, 15, 16. And so you're not getting that strong bone building aspect when you're young. So their DEXA scan as a 30-year-old is going to be highly different than someone who did start menstruating at, say, age 11. And so that's something always to keep in common, or to keep in mind when you're looking at that DEXA scan. And I've had students call me crying, and it's like, it's a number. We're going to deal with this. So don't panic. And there is a lot we can do through yoga, through movement, through relaxation exercises, through diet, to not only strengthen our bones, but to keep our joints healthy.
Very good.
That's the good news. I have students ask me quite often about the osteoporosis meds, and I definitely have an opinion. So I have to be mindful of not inflicting my opinion on people. What I say is, please, please, please research it. Don't just ask your doctor. Google it, look at the side effects, talk to friends who've taken them, talk to friends who haven't taken them. Really empower ourselves. I think this is starting to happen as a culture, where we're starting to go, hey, wait a minute, the doctor doesn't know everything. You know, and sometimes you only have 2 minutes with your doctor, so if he does know everything, you're not going to get it anyway.
Right.
So, and we have the magic Dr. Google, who tells us a lot. And you might sometimes get conflicting information, but to me, more information is better, to be able to take it in and digest it. And we know someone whose sister, they're a couple years apart, her sister went on the meds, and her sister lost her jaw due to osteonecrosis. Osteonecrosis is a pretty, very serious condition, and it means dead bone. They had to surgically remove her jaw. And so that's one of the side effects, is osteonecrosis. Not everyone gets it, but some people do. And then the other thing that can happen with, and there's different meds now, so there's constantly new meds coming out. So depending on what they're recommending, really do your research. But with osteoporosis, you can reverse it. Once you go on the meds, that affects the cortical bone, which is the outer strong part of the bone. And it works really well for about a year. It makes them very strong. And then they get brittle. And you start to get things like spiral fractures, which are very, very difficult to heal with surgery even. And once you're on those meds and it starts to affect the cortical bone, that is not reversible. So I just want people to go in, because hindsight's 20/20, right? If you know some of this stuff ahead, you can weigh what works best for you. And for some people, it might work best that they need to go on the meds. Now they have a new shot that's not as invasive to the body. So there's different things coming out all the time. And my mantra is always educate yourself. That's the most important thing, is to know what you're going to be taking and what the effects might be.
Right.